Hey everyone, it's Jessica Michaels here with the Cherry on Top Crafts. I have a fun camping spread for you today in my travel notebook. I recently switched all of my camping to our little travel notebooks here because it cuts down on my large 12 by 12 albums and it seems to be working out really nicely for me. So I'm going to create a nice spread today using some tag dies from my stash and the new collection in the Cherry on Top shop by Uniquely Creative. It's called Field Notes, and I absolutely just love the colors in this collection. It's very earthy and naturey, and these colors are just my jam. I love these colors. So I'm going to be using that collection today. I've cut a couple tags using my manual die cutting machine, and then I'm using the cut apart sheets that come with this collection to just grab a few elements off of here and just fussy cut them. You guys, I am not a fussy cutter, and I don't find these difficult at all to cut out. I didn't mind cutting them, and it was fairly quick for me to cut all these pieces out to use on my little tags here. So I've got a couple photos that I already had printed. I'm not going to reprint any of these. I'm just going to work with the sizes that I have and just kind of go with the flow on these. So I've just trimmed that one down a little bit so it fits across my tag. And then I'm just going to embellish around it and just find little bits and pieces to add to it. So I've got the ephemera packs here that I'm using, which has all different kinds of cool things in it, like little campers and badges and little campsite type things and all the fun things that you can use on your layouts or projects like this. So I've got a title piece here that I want to use. This is just a photo of our campsite. It's our favorite campsite in the campground that we always go to. My husband doesn't really like to go anywhere else, so we typically always go to this campground, which is fine with me because it's set up so nicely and they have a nice beach there, and it's just perfect for the kids when they want to go fishing and do all of the outdoorsy things. They've got hiking. They've got everything there that our family needs, and we just absolutely love it. So sometimes it gets to me that we don't visit other places and see different things. But you know what? This works out so nice for our family, and we have this place really figured out at this point. So it's just really nice for our family. And of course, my daughter, I have to mention here for safety reasons, she is riding on my husband's shoulders there, but she literally just rode like that across the street right there because our campsite was right behind me when I took this photo. So she didn't ride around the campground like that. Just so you know, full disclosure, we don't let her ride like that. It wasn't safe. She didn't have a helmet, I know, but she just went right across the street, so she didn't have to walk. That was all. So I've got the dies here that come with this collection as well. You can grab that from the Cherry shop. It makes it super easy to cut out all of these zigzags because these are definitely something I don't like to fussy cut. So I grabbed these dies from the Cherry shop, and you can layer them like this. So you can cut the solid one, or you can cut just the border like I have here. And I am just actually layering mine with the different colors because I really loved the way that that looked. So I'm just going to run that across the bottom of my tag there, right along the bottom of my photo, and then I will glue both pieces together. So I have my photo here. I've just trimmed it down a little bit. I just wanted a little bit more of that wood grain paper to peek through. That's actually my favorite pattern from this collection, is that wood grain. It's just like the perfect shade of wood grain, and I really, really love it. So I wanted as much of that to peek through as possible on that tag, and I'm actually going to be sandwiching this tag together. So you're seeing both sides of the tag right now as I'm creating them, and then I will eventually sandwich these together and sew them up. So I'm going to do some machine stitching on them for distressing, and then I will also add a machine stitched outline around the whole thing so that it'll kind of seal it up, and I can add my attaching pieces there for my binder that you see at the top left of my screen. And then I can actually insert it into my binder without any issues. And really the machine stitching just kind of adds some durability, and it'll make it just hold up a little bit nicer in my album when flipping through it. So I've got the ephemera packs here. I'm just kind of diving in there and seeing what I wanted to add to this tag. I don't want to add too much right now at this point because I do want to do some machine stitching just to add some distressing and just make these tags look really cool. So I'm just going to lightly embellish for now and then throw this at my sewing machine just to add some machine stitching. I'm going to add this border on here right now before I add any stitching, and just add a few elements here before I pull that off screen. I don't typically do my machine sewing on camera because it's just kind of boring to watch, but I just have a basic brother sewing machine that I use. It's nothing super fancy. It does have quite a bit of stitches to choose from, but it wasn't super expensive. I think I got it from Walmart, and I just chose one that looked pretty easy to use but had a nice collection of stitches to use. So I do use it for fabric projects as well, but mostly I use it for paper, honestly. But when I do use it for fabric, just if you're doing the same and switching back and forth, just make sure that you switch your needle out before you switch to fabric, because paper does dull your needle a lot. So you can see there I have my machine stitching just for my distressing portion on here, and then I am adding these little attaching pieces to it just to be able to add this into my travel notebook. So I have a binder travel notebook, as you can see here, and I just wanted to be able to add it in here easily and be able to flip through it easily. So I have a die that has these little attached pieces to it, and you can just cut them out of the 6x6 paper pad like I did and use some of those beautiful patterns to mix in here for another color. I love this green shade, and I really love the blue shade at the top of my tags too. That's probably another favorite paper out of this collection. So I'm just adding these in. I'm just kind of using my binder as a template so that I know they're lined up and exactly where they needed to be, instead of having to play around with measuring things or doing anything like that. I'm lightly sandwiching these together, keeping my adhesive in the middle, and then I just did some machine stitching around the outside. It's really thick and durable at this point. I'm going to go ahead and finish embellishing these tags and adding my titles and anything else that I didn't want my outside stitches to cover. And then I'm also grabbing this stamp set. This is from the Camp Legend collection by Photo Play. I recently grabbed that from the shop, and I just really love this stamp set, and I thought it would be really cute to do some stamping on my photo. And then I also really liked this little tree branch down here. So I'm just going to quickly cut this out, and then I can stamp this on here. I think it says Little Explorer, which was, I was talking about my daughter being on my husband's shoulders, obviously. But I am just going to add this on here. I just really liked the way that that looked and that cute little stamp. So I just went ahead and stamped it right on there. And then I'm adding my little compass on here as well. I'm just going to continue layering some embellishments and adding a little bit of thread there for some more texture and another little pop of color. I do like to glue down my tails on the thread so they're just not kind of all over the place. So I've got these little stars in here that I'm going to stamp directly on my photo. I am using archival ink because it does hold up better whenever you're stamping on photos. That way it doesn't smudge or smear. So that's why I'm using my black archival ink for this. And then I've just stamped my little trail sign there. And I'm really liking the way that this is looking at this point. So basically I'm just filling in any spots that I think need anything extra, and then I'm just going to move on to the other side. At this point I can go ahead and add my title on here because I have that machine stitching done, and I can add any elements that I'm going to pop up. So I'm just going to place this little wood piece down, and then I wanted to pop up this cute little lantern. So I'm just grabbing some 3D foam squares and just popping that little guy up. So I just love these little tags. They are so super cute, and I'm just loving how they're coming together. And it's going to look really great in my book and just add a little bit of just something different in my travel notebooks, because sometimes I struggle with coming up with different ideas that aren't just full pages or coming up with interactive elements and things like that. So adding a tag like this or a different shape for a page is just a way that you can add just something unique to your travel notebooks. I've got these two photos here that I'm going to use on the side. The top one is of my 3 kiddos just getting ready to ride bikes, and I just thought it was so cute. I'm using a tag from the Cider and Donuts collection. This is the sticker book by Simple Stories that I'm just using that tag just to add my date. I actually didn't end up keeping it at the top there. I ended up moving it down to the bottom down here, and I kind of fiddled with it a little bit because it wasn't straight the first time I put it on there, so I kind of peeled it back up. and then I just pressed it back down. But I've got those 2 photos on the right. The other one is just a view at the campground of the water and like how the dam is. It just looks really cool. So I like to take a photo of it every time we're there just to see, you know, where the water level was, because it does fluctuate quite a bit. And they dam it up certain times of the year, so there's more water or less water depending on the season. So I just like to always take a photo of it while we're there. It just looks really cool to just see kind of the progression of it during the different times of the year. I've got this title piece that I'm fussy cutting at this point, and then I'm going to cut out the leaves as well. And I'm just going to pop some music in here for the rest of this video because my kids are being so loud and wild and crazy today. I thought I chose a quiet spot to do this voiceover, but lo and behold, they have found me as they usually do. So I'm going to pop some music in here just while I finish up embellishing this. I will stop in at the end. As usual, I will link everything down below in the description for you in case you want to grab anything from the Cherry on Top shop. But I'm going to pop in here at the end and show you the finished layout. So here is the finished spread. I absolutely love how this one came out using that collection by Uniquely Creative called Field Notes. You can grab it from the Cherry on Top shop. I will make sure I link it and everything else down below in the description that I have used. You can just click on those links. It'll take you right there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a comment if you like this video, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.